Union High School District, and we welcome you to an opportunity to experience history, if you will, right? This means something because as educators, we know that leadership matters. And today, we're going to start by swearing in two wonderful gentlemen that I had an opportunity to get to know, I guess a few weeks ago, and hope to get to know them even a little bit more as they experience their tenure. So what I'd like to do in alphabetical order first, we're going to swear in both of our new members. And then at that point, so you kind of know what's happening, we'll say it again out loud, is we're having a special session. And because we have no president or pro tem, we've got to elect a temporary president who will then run the business to elect a new president. So we'll be doing it twice per policy, okay? But first, let's start with Mr. Hayes. And if you would be so kind to share who will be, as you come up, we'll do it in a wonderful, inspiring, excellent kind of way. If you'll come on up. And I know Mr. Flores, Gani Flores, will be swearing you in. And then after that, I've asked for Jennifer Portson to take appropriate pictures. And then if you will also please introduce your beautiful wife and family. That'd be fantastic. And then you get to do the walk of fame and shake hands with your board members afterwards.
This is my wife, Sonia. I have her up front with me. This is a first for me, and I'm looking forward to get started. And I've asked Gunnery Sergeant Flores to administer the oath of office because he was played a big part in getting me to this point and supporting me throughout the district. So thank you. I, Stephen Hayes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the United States as the state of Arizona,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies,
and defend them against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of governing board member for Casa Grande Union High School District
of governing board member of Casa Grande Union High School District
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You get to do the walk of fame.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't get short.
All right, we have a second inductee. And would Mr. Hunt and Mr. Hawks and family please come forward? And please introduce your beautiful wife.
This is my wife, Sandra. She's my best asset. And she was another reason why I was able to run for school board. She encouraged me, worked with me, and helped me tremendously. And I owe her a great debt. And Boots Hawks was the one that talked me into it. I'm not so sure yet that I owe him a gratitude, but we'll work on that. But Boots and I have known each other for a number of months now, maybe close to a year, and I have come to respect him greatly. Okay.
Please do.
Yes.
I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Steve Hunt, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and Constitution of the State of Arizona,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of governing board member of Casa Grande Unified School District.
and I will faithfully
And impartially discharge the duties of the office of governing board member.
I will faithfully and impartially discharge
The
the
duties,
duties of the governing board of Casa Grande
that's good. According to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you very much.
Our new members, please have a seat.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Any one of these, Mr. Hunt, Mr. Hayes, check the vacancies.
And ladies,
If you could use some time, that'd be great. I thought they'd put it in the center just to get started, and then we can do shuffle later on. All right, so a little unorthodox because we have no officer at this time. So I'll initiate our process so that we can move forward. So again, because we have no president or pro temp, we're going to need to select a temporary president per policy. Because it says this, because the board president is no longer a member of the board, a temporary president shall be elected and the meeting shall be called to order by the temporary president. The temporary president shall preside until a successor is chosen. So I will kind of organize and then we'll go from there. Sound good, everyone?
sounds good.
Okay, so first order of business is to nominate a temporary person. Are there any nominations?
I make a motion that we throw this Stephen right into the boiling water and state him as our temporary president.
I second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? There is none. So we'll call the question. Mary?
Mr. Hayes
Aye.
and Mrs. Harrington,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
and Mr. Hunt, do you elect yourself?
The votes are against you this time anyway. No.
Overruled? No.
You can get out of the job pretty quickly here in a minute.
For the record, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So we have elected a temporary president. Mr. Hunt, would you fulfill the organizational business this evening?
I'd like to call this meeting to order. And we're in the process now of electing a new president to take over from me. And I would like to nominate Chuck as our new president. Do I hear a second?
I would actually like to nominate, I truly, as we begin this session, I think there's only one choice, and that's Kelly. She is the only member of the board who will have a child here at the district, as well as has governing board experience. I think both of those assets would be tremendous as we move forward. So before we take the vote on Chuck, I'd like to put a motion for Kelly, as I think especially as we are moving forward in a way to better reach out to the community, to better represent parents. It would be great to have a parent as president of this board.
Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah. Gotta be a second.
Yes, I'm waiting for a second, actually.
Okay.
On both, or
No,
Just the first one, just Chuck to begin with.
I'll second on Chuck.
Okay, I'll call for the question, or do we have any more discussion on the issue?
So We vote on the one first.
So, yes,
Yes.
we got to vote on the first.
The first one, yeah, which is Chuck being the president. So we'll call for the vote.
Okay,
Mary?
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington,
Yes, I support Chuck.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
and Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
So, with that said, Mr.
We now have a new president.
Yes, so we do, and they collectively have decided. So is there a shuffle, or are we good right where we are?
We're good, right?
We're good right where we are. Okay. That's what we get to do. Chuck, congratulations, Mr.
Okay.
Wright. Steve,
Thank you all. Now we have two more positions to fill. The next position will be the President Pro Temp. In case that I'm not here, or I'm traveling, or I'm just don't want to come. We'll have a motion for President Pro Tem.
I make a motion for Steve Hayes to be the pro tem.
I personally would prefer to have someone that has currently served on the board. I think it makes more sense.
Well, I'm looking for a, sorry,
Second. I second that. It's been moved and seconded for Steve Hayes to be the President Pro Tem. Is there any discussion?
I would reiterate Kelly's point. Steve is wonderful. It may be more advantageous to have someone who has had experience on the board. I would nominate Kelly for that position. Again, the same case. She's a parent. She has experience on the board, and in a leadership position, I think it makes sense to have someone with a little bit of experience.
Is there a second for Ms. Harrington?
Can I second myself?
No. Hearing none, can we call for the vote for the first nomination?
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington,
No.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
and Mr. Hunt.
yes.
The motion passed. Our new President Pro Tem is Mr. Hayes. Congratulations. And we have our next position to fill is to be our legislative representative. And this is kind of a long-standing position that one of the board members monitors what's going on with the legislature, as it has such an important part of how we operate our schools. And it kind of monitors our local representatives and kind of keeps an ear to the ground on what some of the legislation that affects us. And every once in a while, so fit, he or she can give us a report on some of the important things that are being brought forth to the legislature that affects us. And so is there a motion for the legislative representative?
I'd like to nominate Taylor Kirby.
I'll second that.
I think Taylor is a good choice because I think he's probably one of the best choices that this board has had, and in that he has had direct experience in being connected to the legislature. He's got the ear of several of the local representatives and senators. I think he would be a good choice, and I think he'll be an asset. He was doing what we're doing. So, is there any discussion? Any more discussion? Mary, would you call for the question, please?
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
and Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Okay. And that brings us to the meeting times. Our regular meeting times are the first Tuesday of the month at 5:30 for a scheduled special session, and then 6:30 for the regular session. And these meeting times are possible to change because of holidays, and the board will make note of that as they come up. So our regular meeting time is the first Tuesday of the month at 5:30 and 6:30. Is there any discussion on that? Or is there anybody wishing to make a motion to go with those to the existing time?
I'll make a motion that we stick with the existing time.
I'll go ahead and second.
It's been moved and seconded by Kelly and seconded by Taylor to keep the meeting times the same. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Mary, will you call for the question, please?
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes,
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
And Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
and that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything else anybody needs to have to say? No? 2023 is gonna be a good year. I think we're, got a lot of work to do. We've got 5 board members. 3 of us have, vast experience. 2 of us are gonna learn really fast. And, thank you for all for coming, and we'll be in touch soon. We're adjourned.
Thank you very much.
I need a lot of signatures, so don't anybody go anywhere.